Well, hello everybody. It's been a long time, but when don't I say that? I have been working on my journals, and I wanted to show you how I started with these unorganized lists and how I moved towards more of an agenda style. So in 2020, I really wanted to focus on making a piece of monthly art and then setting a couple goals for myself. I really enjoyed working in this 4x4 inch space. I thought it was a very low pressure way of using your precious art supplies that you don't want to use. And then being able to set and track monthly goals really helped me to feel way more intentional with my time. But it also reminded me, oh yeah, I did do something that month. The more and more I worked on this format, I decided that I needed to expand it because there was even more things I wanted to track and write down. So I started working on a digital format using Procreate. Cut to 2024, I'm still workshopping ideas of what I want for the entire journal. What I was able to solidify pretty early on was the monthly setup, which was the little calendar at the corner, the 4x4 inch art space, and then the goal section. Here I'm showing you the different types of paper I was testing. I started out with the plain computer paper, and as you can see, it doesn't print very nicely, and when I was using different mediums like markers and pens, they had massive bleed through, so I quickly ordered different paper. This is a Koala brand. This paper is printing way more saturated images. It's already a massive step up from the computer paper. I also tested this Nina Bright paper. It has a textured surface, so for things like pencil crayons, it takes that medium really well. In the end, I decided to go with the Koala brand paper because it was smooth, it wasn't going to rough up your pens, it prints vibrantly, and I was using things like Sharpie and experiencing little bleed through or ghosting, so it's a win. What's really cool about this journal is that you're not limited by my paper selection. You can add any type of paper you want to this art space. I really like working with watercolor paper for this section because it can take things like ink, acrylic, and pencil crayons. I am also a big fan of collaging. I think it's a great way to cover up mistakes, which I make a ton of. And then I can use things like my old sketches, stickers, and print media. Like this image here, I decided to slap it in that art space because that's what I worked on for that month. So I continued working on the journal, and I was doing a lot of things like testing different pens and highlighters, seeing what was working, what was smudging. But most of my time was spent on doing things digitally and working in Procreate. Everything became about formatting and correcting the layout of the pages. So I was moving things around by the millimeter, really checking to make sure everything was centered on the page. I was checking fonts and line thicknesses, all those little details that people obsess over. That's what I was focused on because I really wanted everything to be seamless when I went to print and assemble the journal. I like to modify my journals by completely gutting them, putting in new book interiors, and expanding the spine to almost double the size. This way I have enough room to add in a bunch of stickers and other elements that I'm doing with my collage work. I really like the idea of the Midori style journals, so that's what I did. I put in eyelets and converted it into this system. And what it is that all these pages are totally independent from each other. They're not fixed in by glue or sewing. You can pull out pages, you can add in new papers, and everything is held together by this elastic system. My journal setup has these 3 sections. They're called signatures, and how I assemble it is I take the first and the last signature, put them onto the same elastic cord as you just saw, and draw it through this middle elastic cord. And then I take the middle signature and draw it through the middle cord. So it's really easy to set this journal up. And then also at the end of the year, when you're done working with that journal, you can take them out, and then like this 2024, I actually bound this together and made a little cover for it. What's great about this is that you can use these journal covers over and over again. Now, getting into the monthly setup, Every month starts with 2 pages of never-ending lists, and I love this space because you can just brain dump onto the page. You don't have to organize anything. It could be totally random. From there, you can go to the monthly setup where you focus on the little art space and then setting a couple goals for yourself. Next, we have the monthly calendar, and in this space, you can track a lot of different things like birthdays, appointments, work schedules. You can track your moods. There's just a lot of space here that you can write different things that happen to you throughout the month. And then if you do need more space, the next 3 pages, I have these little boxes where you can go into greater detail. I usually like to write down song lists and funny things that happened to me during the month, and sometimes you capture the not so funny things that happen, the heartbreaking, the tormenting, all those types of things that happens in your life, right? So one of my rituals that I do before going into the next month is I will go back to the never-ending lists of the previous month, and I will review and check off anything that I've accomplished. I'll completely abandon things I don't want to do anymore. Any ideas that I still like, I'll just put them in the next month's never-ending lists. And what I really like about this process is it really does show me what I want to prioritize and continue on with. Oh look, it's a better example of the calendar spread. This one's a little bit more filled in. This is the month that I was working on my stickers, and these images I pulled from Canva, so they're not my own artwork, but I was just experimenting with my new Cricut setup and trying to figure everything out. And the funny thing is that I didn't mean to print the stickers this size. It was just a happy accident that really worked out for me, because then I started thinking these are perfect for planner stickers. Here are some behind the scenes digital planning that I was doing with my painting and then also with the watercolor palettes. This next couple scenes, it's kind of hard to talk about because here is not my artwork. It's collage items that I found inspiring and then mixed in with summer scenes that I was creating. So these are the images that I made for stickers. Back to more inspirational photos on the left, and then another summer sticker on the right. Another thing I was learning was how to make digital seamless patterns, and here is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer one. I don't know if you guys are a fan, but I definitely am. And here's the digital painting. Yet another change, and I'm still working on it currently. It's February 2026, and yeah, that's something that I'm continuing to work on. I keep learning new things as I go on and making those changes as my skill grows, and I can't seem to stop myself. So here we are. So in September, I was really working on the watercolor / gouache palettes. Here's a digital mock-up of the packaging, but what I did was this artwork, which I used the palette itself and pencil crayons to produce this image. And here's another mock-up. I'm deciding to go with this final look. I have to kind of tweak some things, but I think it represents the skin tone palette really well. I have to show you that more later in a different video, but I really wanted to give you a sneak peek because it's been so long. Also, do you see these colors together? Oh my god, they're so beautiful. Is it just me? I don't know. It does something with my mind. So just wrapping up on the final months from October to November, I did a lot of collage here and really enjoyed myself. It's like one of my favorite mediums to do because you're just visually sticking on images that appeal to you and arranging them in ways that kind of tickle your brain. So if you find yourself needing a creative outlet that helps to direct your energy, this is definitely the space for it. And just to record everything that can happen in a year, I found it was really motivating in the end of it all, even if I was struggling at times. I found that this was like a very good picture of everything that can happen to you in a year, the ups and the downs. And the more and more I worked in this, it just became so valuable, more than just a creative outlook, but really just getting to know myself sometimes too. Well, that's the end of the 2025 journal. Yay, we did it! Now I'm just setting up for 2026, and one small change that I made to the journals is that I took out the calendar that's on the corner because I wanted to future-proof the journals. Before I go, here's a quick look at the rest of the headers for each month, and yeah, I enjoyed making this video. I'm a little bit rusty, but hopefully I get better as I go. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.